Welcome to Lantern TV's Spring Special Show, Behind the Scenes of OSU. I'm Ariana Bernard. Here at The Ohio State University, there are many special aspects and traditions, but there's some a lot of campus community does not know about them. The purpose of this show is to take you behind the scenes and show you a closer look at some of OSU's most famous attributes. We will begin by taking you behind one of the most important faces of Ohio State football. You can catch him on the sidelines getting the crowd pumped and excited on game days. You may know him as Brutus the Buckeye, and our very own Jenna Linasars helps you get to know this famous nut a little bit more.
The strength.
I'm looking for somebody that's ready to carry on the legacy that's been set.
Creativity.
They're put to the test.
Energy.
It's like, man, I am on espresso shots after espresso shots. Let's go.
All go into answering the question,
can you embody the character that is Brutus Buckeye?
The journey to becoming Ohio State's favorite nut all starts with one simple form.
In as many lines as you want, you tell me why you want to be Brutus.
And after some Q&A sessions with the coaching staff, Brutus was ready to put his skills to the test.
Hulk Hogan, headbang, that's a baseline. If you can get that to look pretty consistent, I can work with you.
10 costume candidates reacted to real-life scenarios in front of a panel of judges.
When a situation happens, can you respond the way Brutus would respond and just, make it entertaining or spin it as a positive no matter what's coming at you?
Going through the checkout line and you get flagged by the metal detector and they have to check you out. Go.
And perform skits to show an extra special something.
Kind of look for something called an X factor. What's a talent that you have that would be cool to see Brutus bring to fruition?
See another Brutus, be a great dancer. Or he was playing the drums in the band.
In the end, scores were calculated and 6 of the 10 candidates were selected for the team, ready to literally embody Brutus Buckeye.
You are him. The two of you become one. And honestly, sometimes you forget that you're actually in the outfit.
Emily Williams has been judging the tryouts for a decade, but before that, she was doing headstands of her own.
I am the first female Brutus since 1983. You're getting your shoes on. My hair was about to go into a ponytail with some clips.
She's one of 3 documented women to ever be Brutus Buckeye.
I knew when I tried out, being the only female in the group, that it was going to be an uphill battle.
But it didn't stop her from putting on a show.
Sometimes I would cheer a football game for 3 hours in the afternoon, and then I would go back to my apartment, take a couple hours cat nap in the outfit, and then I would go to the shot and cheer an ice hockey game for 3 more hours. That's basically a 100-degree day and losing 10 pounds in water weight due to all the sweating.
Or being a part of the tradition after her graduation. She now serves on the Brutus Advisory Board, supporting future Brudi in as many ways as possible.
Having them as a resource just to say, hey, I was Brutus, you're a Brutus, can you kind of help me out? It's been phenomenal.
You'll rarely ever know who exactly is under the disguise, because if you did, I'm told the magic would be ruined.
So for all you know, there's just one Brutus, and I really have to leave it at that.
You're a part of something special, and you don't necessarily have to share it with everyone.
But what does it really mean to be Brutus Buckeye? Head coach Ray Sharp can't help but get excited when he thinks about it.
I'm just getting chills thinking about it. It's the coolest thing ever. It's like one person he's got all this excitement, and he's cultivating that amongst everyone and just channeling it all to him. It's incredible.
He explains it's not all fun and games.
This past year, we did over 400 events, both in and out of suits. You got to sacrifice. You got to be willing to say, you know what, maybe I can't sleep in today, or maybe I have to go to bed a little bit later just because I had to do this event.
And Brutus doesn't only support the Ohio State football and basketball teams. He's visiting newborns in the hospital, spending time in the community, and with his fellow Buckeye students.
Just the opportunity to interact with your immediate community in a way that is going to generate joy every time, it's incredible.
Emily said her favorite experience as Brutus wasn't the 2002 national championship. Instead, it was when she went to visit a boy named Sam.
He had terminal cancer, and I went to his house as Brutus. And that event was his national championship game because I made his day, and that was just, I'll never forget the look on Sam's face when he gave me a hug and said, Brutus, that this is one of the things that I wanted to do before I go. I wanted to meet you.
It's bigger.
Brutus is the face of the university.
Than just putting on a costume.
You realize there's many years of tradition that goes into Brutus before me.
It's something Coach Sharp says is hard to explain until you walk into your first event as Brutus. And he has one final message for any student ready to take on the challenge.
Come try out. In worst case scenario, you got to put on the head.
For Lantern TV, I'm Jenna Linesars.
Another infamous part about OSU football games is none other than the best damn band in the land. We just recently had the spring game, and now I'll take you behind the scenes of all the work that went into the band's performance and give you a better look inside the band as a whole.
Really feed off of the energy that the crowd gives you, and it's really exhilarating, I think is the right word for it.
It's amazing. It's nothing like anything else. I mean, my first year here performing at the spring game right after we won the national championship was phenomenal. It's the most people I've ever performed in front of, and it's an unforgettable experience.
For most members of the athletic band, performing in Ohio Stadium on game day is unbeatable. Yes, you heard me right. I said the athletic band, not the marching band. So what's the difference?
The main difference is that the marching band tries out every year. They try out in August for their positions. Even those that have been in the band before have to try out. The spring band is anybody that wants to play can play. We take anybody that plays an instrument. Anybody that's interested is welcome to join us for the spring game. And we get a lot of marching band folks that use this as an opportunity to get their skills back in shape for the fall.
However, even without a tryout process, these students work just as hard and with a limited amount of time for practice.
We practice, I think we have 8 rehearsals before the spring game, so we put a show together in 8 rehearsals. It's not a lot of time. I wish we had more, but our students, as always, do a fantastic job. The people that were in marching band know what they're doing, so they are a help, and the people that weren't are great kids, great students, and intelligent people who pick it up quick and do a great job with it.
And for these students, the experience is absolutely rewarding.
Joining the athletic band was definitely the best decision that I made here at college. I definitely found my best friends here, and it's really where I found my home. So just all the people that I've gotten to meet, people that I'm sure will be lifelong friends, and also all the experiences that I've gotten to have, all the tournament trips and playing in the shoe, things like that, just all around just awesome.
Honestly, like the friendships you make and the people you meet, it's really cool getting to know all the different people across the bands and developing those close-knit relationships with people.
The band is known for having cutting-edge performances and does not have its nickname as the best damn band in the land without reason. Dr. Hoke was open about where that inspiration comes from.
To be honest, it comes from a lot of different places. The ideas for our shows come from many different people. It starts with our students. We take their ideas. Our music arrangers a lot of times will have some really great ideas. Sometimes we admittedly steal from other bands that we see and other groups that perform. So it's a variety of resources that we use, and we try to take what we see and take what other people suggest and make it the best that it can possibly be.
And what is it like to be the director of the athletic and marching band?
It's an honor. It's a privilege. There's nothing like it in the world. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I love having Dr. Hoke as a band director. He's really inspiring, and I've definitely learned a lot under him for sure.
Although being in the band looks like it might always be fun, members do often face some adversity and offer advice on how to overcome it for those who want to perform.
Just go for it. I think don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to just come in and join the athletic band, even if you don't, if you're not super comfortable with your instrument or if you're trying a new instrument. Don't be afraid to just make that jump and try it. And if you are thinking about trying out for the marching band, same thing. Don't be afraid to try. I got cut 3 times from the marching band and I came back every time. So I would definitely say just go for it. Jump right in.
Stay determined. Yeah, I actually started on sousaphone when I came here, so it's kind of cool to see like the dedication you put in there. Then now 2.5, 3 years later, you're kind of at the top of the class. So.
And sometimes there are slip-ups. Not even the best damn band in the land is perfect.
This year and last year, as the lead snare for the athletic band, I have to do taps on the field, so when we're learning new charts, I'm the one giving the taps to keep everyone in time. So whenever I miss a count or I count the wrong number and people start yelling at me and I'm like, I'm sorry. So definitely that.
However, all in all, the band plans to continue to work hard to strive for excellence.
We're looking to be as good as we possibly can, to put on more cutting-edge shows and be the best that we can be. Make sure our students are getting out there in the community, being seen, and being the best college students that they can possibly be.
Ariana Bernard, Lantern TV. Finally, we are taking our show to new heights, all the way up to Orton Bell Tower. Its bells can be heard chiming loudly on campus, and our very own multimedia editor, Elizabeth Suarez, gives us the scoop on its history and who is chiming these bells today.
While walking across the oval, you'll most likely hear the chimes sounding from Orton Hall. Although it's hard to imagine a campus without the sound of ringing bells now, there was a time when there were no bells to be heard. Catherine Montalto, an associate professor in the Department of Human Sciences, has researched the history of the Orton Hall bells extensively.
It's one of the 2 oldest buildings on our oval, along with Hayes Hall. The construction of Orton Hall was completed in 1893, and the building is beautiful and grand. It is built from all stones that are native in the state of Ohio, and it was built with that beautiful tower. So the building opened in 1893, but there were no bells in the bell tower, and the building actually existed for over 20 years before the bells were placed in the tower.
What people might not know is that students played a large role in purchasing the bells.
It was the graduating class of 1906 that decided they wanted their class gift to be fundraising towards the purchase of a set of chimes that could be placed in the tower. And so they established the chime fund and made a very nice donation to the fund, but not enough to be able to buy the chimes.
The class of 1906 was just the beginning.
It actually took several succeeding classes who also embraced the chimes fund as their senior class gift.
The classes of 1907 to 1911 and 1913 and 1914 also made financial contributions.
And so in 1914, they had amassed sufficient funds to purchase a set of 12 bells to put in the tower. They had amassed $8,000. If you inflation adjust that to 2017, those classes had raised nearly $200,000.
The bells were officially installed just over a century ago in 1915.
Our bells were actually manufactured by the McShane Bell Company that was in Baltimore, Maryland. 12 beautiful bells were delivered to campus on February 11th of 1915. And there are wonderful pictures in the archives of the 12 bells sitting on the ground outside of Orton Hall. A crane was used to lift the bells up to the attic, and then from the attic they were installed into the bell tower. And they're installed in layers, with larger bells lower, as you would expect, and the smaller bells as we move up.
Unlike now, during the first 5 years that the bells existed, they had to be played manually by faculty and students in the Chimers Club.
A lot of these students were music students, but if you weren't a music student, they would train you on how to play the chimes, and then when there was a need for concerts or playing of the bells, any of these people who had been trained could go up and play the bells. The graduating class of 1919 and 1920 decided to give another class gift towards the bells so that we could put a clock mechanism in the bell tower.
In the late 1980s, Ohio State installed an automatic system to play the Westminster peal, rotated the bells, and replaced the claviers with an electric keyboard.
In 2003, we added 2 more bells to the set, so now we have 14 bells. I mentioned that we call our set of bells chimes, and if you look up words around what it means to have a set of chimes or what it means to have a carillon, in order to qualify as having chimes, you need to have between 8 and 23 bells. So I mentioned we originally installed 12 and now we have 14. So we meet that definition of being a set of chimes. Those of us that are on campus today hear what's called the Westminster chimes. So at 1/4 you will hear the first bar of the Westminster peal. At the half hour you'll get 2 bars. At 1/4 you get 3 bars. On the hour, you hear all 4 bars. Then the lowest, our biggest bell, which is our lowest note, is used to strike the hour. So I think one of the best times to be on the Oval is at noon or at midnight, because the chimes play all 4 bars of Westminster peal, and then you get the lowest bell striking 12 times through the hour. But if you ever hear songs being played from the bell tower, like Carmen, Ohio, then you know someone is up there playing the bells.
During my visit to the bell tower, I was able to play Carmen, Ohio. The student organization Ohio Staters Incorporated operates the bells for special occasions.
We will play the bells for the commencement eve ceremonies. There are honorary systems at Ohio State that ask for the chimes to be played when they're doing their initiation. And occasionally alumni will ask for the bells to be played when they're doing a proposal or maybe having a wedding reception on campus. I think for all of us on campus, when we walk across the Oval and we hear the chimes in Orton Hall, it conjures lots of memories of time and change and friendships on campus, and it's clearly one of my favorite moments is when I'm on the Oval and the chimes play.
Whether they're playing Carmen, Ohio or the Westminster chimes, the bells of Orton Tower have now made over a century of students and alumni feel welcome at Ohio State.
This wraps up our Behind the Scenes of OSU special. We hope it gave you more insight into some of Ohio State's prominent features. Thank you so much for tuning in, and go Bucks!